But hi, welcome, everyone, to today's stream. Again, gonna be pretty low-key, I'm pretty sure. Not gonna be very high energy or anything of the like, just gonna be kind of vibing, and I was planning on doing this anyway, and it kind of works out. I basically want to attempt a Wind Waker randomizer, because it's been a bit since I've actually done one. I've also worked on getting some other mods ready. So for example, I did go ahead and install the Linkle mod, and also the mod that changes the gender and text for the character. There is a command !mods, which should point out all the mods I'm currently using for this playthrough. Yeah, this should be relatively straightforward, pretty low-key, chill time. But yeah, this is what the Linkle mod looks like. Interestingly enough, this was actually developed first for Wind Waker HD, and then was backported to the GameCube version. So, I have dabbled a bit in Wind Waker randomizers in the past, though I've never actually completed one. I tried one a long time ago, like really early on, and I think I soft-locked it. Like, I literally had no checks left, and I could not proceed, so I kind of just gave up on that. And most other attempts I had started never really took off, mostly just because I frankly lost interest, to be honest. I kind of lost focus, and you know, if I put something down too long, then it's a case of like I don't remember exactly what I was doing. But basically, I am gonna do my best to try to stick through this one. For basic settings, most things in terms of like we start with a sword and everything, so that's left to default. But we do start with magic, and we also start with several songs. So we have the Warp song, and I think the other song for Song of Passing, Battle of Gales, and Wind's Requiem. Wind's Requiem won't be super helpful, because there's also an option in the randomizer to basically have the Swift Sail at all times from HD. Another thing worth mentioning is I am using a tracker. I need to actually remember to update it periodically, and I will be saving frequently because I'm actually attempting to use this on hardware, so I definitely need to be aware of like crashes and stuff, because I've never done a randomizer on actual hardware, so this could go poorly for all I know, but we'll give it a try. So yeah, we can only go in at night, so we actually have to change this. There's also a mod specific. Mod uses like what I ended up doing was randomizing it to have the female version of Link. That's just part of the mod. But there is also an option to add Linkle's voice lines, but I actually don't know how to get that working. The Link model is so adorable. Hi. Hello, welcome. And yeah, it's really cute. And again, it actually was first implemented in Wind Waker HD. Okay, this is a weird start to this seed. I don't know how to feel about this. We have one of the Tingle statues, and we got a heart piece. So that is like everything we can do on Outset for now. So I think the next best thing we could do right now is hit up Windfall, because Windfall has 17 checks that we could do, so that definitely seems like a good place to go next. There's actually quite a few mods for Wind Waker. Like, I also need to keep this in mind. Spoils are on. The only things I don't have on for this mod or for this randomizer are long side quests, so things like the trading quest and the trees, and also what's the other one that I don't want to do? The trading quest, the trees, I think that's about it. The other one I don't have turned on is Savage Labyrinth, which is like the 50th floor gauntlet, mostly because I don't want to do that, because it takes forever, and it's just kind of tedious fighting enemies constantly. So, we are going to warp over to Windfall, if I can remember what the song was. I've played Wind Waker more than any other Zelda, if I had to make a guess. So I basically have the main songs memorized, not so much the others. Love how her little braids sway when she moves. I refuse to believe that this isn't the official intended model. Yeah, it's really good. A lot of mods are kind of like that, where it's like, they have so much effort put into them that they could practically be official. I do hope Zelda games eventually start doing this, where there's like a gender option. Obviously some would be kind of complicated, because you'd have to redo all of the dialogue to account for the other, like, gender options. So I know that's a problem in like Persona 3 Portable, for example, which is actually a different one, because they actually, in that case, have everything redone in some cases, not just like changing pronouns, but changing everything. The long side quests might include the photos, I don't remember. But either way, there is one case in Persona 3 Portable where they did accidentally leave an old line in. This was actually fixed in the remaster. I think they even got the original actress back to re-record one line that was basically still left as male for the female protagonist. So again, something slipped through the cracks when you have an 80-hour RPG. Do I not have text skip, or is Tingle just like... Does Tingle just talk like this? Yeah, I don't think I have, like, fast text on. That is my bad, so some of these will take a bit longer than others. It says Tingle Gift 1 and 2. I don't know what the second... Oh, wait, there it is. That makes sense. I forgot he gives you 2 things here. Yeah, it completely breaks canon if you date a specific character. Basically, the long story short is, like... in the nicest possible way, characters that are supposed to die do not die. That is the easiest way to describe the changes, and that goes for multiple characters too. Like, multiple characters stay alive when they are supposed to die in the original, which is very fascinating, to be honest. So yeah, it's different than just, like, changing pronouns, and also, like, you know... romance options are entirely different. The only one that's sort of still in is, like, I guess, and even that's kind of, like, vague a bit. Not, like, as confirmed of a romance as the others, but there's definitely, you know, with I guess, there's definitely undertones either way. In general, though, I do like the female protagonist more. But that's obviously down to personal preference. I also played this a long-ass time ago, so maybe that was a sign of something. Yeah, I don't know if the pictograph quest counts for this, so that's another thing to look into. Another fun thing— oh wow, that's actually very helpful. We do need that to beat the game. One other thing worth mentioning is, there is something, called, I think, Better Wind Waker, which is actually based on an old version that's a bit out of date. But what it basically does is it allows you to do the mod swap, like the model swapping. Linkle's different actually. You need to do a different method because the models, because it's, I think, from the HD version first, it's actually too high poly to actually work in this game just through, like, the mod manager for everything. So you actually have to go through and change files out. So it's a bit more of a procedure to get this one working, but overall it still looks really good. And again, maybe because it's from HD, that's why it looks so much cleaner in some ways. Next thing we need to do, I think, is the Killer Bee quest, which will definitely take a bit. So yeah, in general, I think Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda, still, though that's largely down to nostalgia. But basically, my nostalgia bias is for Wind Waker. This was my first Zelda, so this is the one I have most nostalgia for. Again, this is like a horrible starting place, actually, to get used to this. Most people, I think, start with Ocarina or Link to the Past, because I feel like as far as randomizers go, they're a little bit more straightforward in some regards. It's not as much of a headache trying to actually sort everything out in those games compared to this one, where there's like 50 million like checks. Like if you turn on everything, you have all the submarines, you have all the sunken treasures, you have the Triforce treasures, you have a ton of stuff to do, and it just takes forever. So in general, I do think this is like not a good first Zelda to do as a randomizer, but it is the Zelda I know the best, so I generally opt for this one. So, Tot also has a check here, though we already have the song, because that's, like, given to you by default, which is very good, so you don't have to, like, sit in the ocean, waiting for time to pass. It's really weird. I'm this way with a lot of games. Okay, that's actually very helpful. I'm like this with a lot of games, actually, where if you ask me for favorite and best, you're going to get different answers. For example, I usually go with this game for my favorite Zelda, even though, objectively speaking, I actually almost always say I think Twilight Princess is the best Zelda. And the difference between them is, the charm of this game really carries it, but I think Twilight Princess is, like, better made by far. Twilight Princess, even though people complain about the slow start and everything, I actually feel like the slow start in that game is so deliberate to the point where it actually makes a lot of sense. It's trying to establish all the characters and everything before, you know, they all get kidnapped, and thus you want to have some level of attachment. Oh, Errol's here. That must be like a newer thing, because I do not remember that the previous times I've tried randomizers. Another thing is, you have the option of changing swinging controls to be closer to Wind Waker HD. In the original, you have to actually manually stop swinging and then turn, so that's really nice. This is gonna take a few tries. Your controller's broken and I couldn't fully press up on the control stick. Oh, yeah, that would be a problem. Again, I never liked the old rope swinging mechanics, so I'm very happy with having the newer mechanics in this mod. I'm gonna do something stupid. This doesn't always work, but yeah, you can actually just do that, and that's, like, to me, easier than trying to, like, time the rope swing. But yeah, on my first playthrough, I got stuck on both rope swing challenges, like, for like half an hour each or something, because I'd never played a Zelda before. I didn't understand, like, oh, there's no jump button, so you actually have to do everything contextually, and so this game was kind of a nightmare, but I ended up warming up to it quite a bit by the end, and yeah, it is one of my favorites because of that. I think on the same day I also picked up Phantom Hourglass, because I knew these two games were linked, and just was like, heck it, I'm gonna pick up both. And since I already knew the basic story of this game, I think I played both around the same time, actually, like concurrently. So, what should we do next? Obviously, hide and seek is a priority. That's why I came over here, and I totally forgot, because one of the kids is hiding behind this, like, engravement on the stone. But yeah, another example is obviously Sonic, where it's like, for 3D especially, this is more of a problem. For 2D, it's like, yeah, Mania, probably. Though again, sometimes, I've talked about this before, but sometimes I actually almost think I give more props to some of the other games that were more, like, foundational, because Mania is just, like, building off of those foundations. So, because it's just building off of what came before it, but doing it really well, I almost feel like it doesn't have quite as much novelty as, like, 3 and Knuckles, which was, like, genuinely the first attempt at that kind of, like, quality for Sonic, in my opinion, though, again, I swear by Sonic 2 as being pretty good. I also think the game takes an absolute nosedive past the first, 6 zones or so. But the other thing that I think about a lot is, with 3D Sonic, I often go with Adventure 2, even though I know that game is objectively very flawed. But even the ones that are more, like, fundamentally okay, I almost think are actually less interesting in some ways. Forces is obviously the biggest example, where like for Forces and Lost World are fundamentally well-made games, if you count pure objective qualities in terms of like, they're less glitchy than others, but I almost feel like they're so like straightforward to the point of lacking charm that other games have. And also, again, another problem in gaming in general is just it's good to be able to discuss flaws while also being able to, like, you know, recognize what a game does well. And I feel like things skew too far in either direction of, like, either basically honing in too much on the flaws or too much on the positives. And I actually think neither is good. There it is, Spoils Bag. That opens up a lot of options for us, actually. But basically, that's kind of my philosophy. A lot of times I will criticize games I really love. Wind Waker being one, where it's like supposedly a dungeon was cut, and it definitely feels like the story kind of gets into a weird rhythm in the middle because of that. But I also still really love this game just for its overall atmosphere and everything. Yeah, this is a weird start. I don't know how to feel about this. So instead of a letter, we'll get something else, most likely. It's actually a problem if we do get a letter, because that means we can't deliver it. Is there a chest down here? And does this count for a check? Alright, we'll see what's in here. Triforce piece, that's very helpful. Alright, we'll see how this goes. Again, we'll check a few times to see what all is here. We do not have enough rupees to actually do the auction though, as a heads up. So we'll just dip in and out, basically. I'm also trying to remember how this works, if you can simply leave and come back, and if it'll swap out, or if you actually have to sit through the entire auction, because again, like, paying 60 rupees for 20 rupees is extraordinarily not worth it. But there is a farming spot over here, at least. Right here. You can go in and out as much as you want to get rupees there. Yeah, it doesn't actually say, so, we'll come back for that later. For now, we'll go through this. This is like a little stealth mission. We have to follow her basically all the way to the shop, and then she'll try to steal a bottle. Well, I say bottle in air quotes because we don't know what it'll be quite yet. I feel like her range of vision can be very hit or miss, so sometimes it'll be really easy, other times I get spotted, and I'm not entirely sure why. I do like how they changed the meow for the female Link. I think it's called like Linka or something. But again, there's an actual Linkle mod as well, so I don't know what they do for the meow. I feel like sometimes I've been spotted through this ramp also, which really sucks when it happens. It's a weird situation. I'm simultaneously like really familiar with this game, but there's a lot of details I've kind of forgotten over the years. First time I played this was actually like 20 years ago. Little girls in their X-ray vision. Yeah, basically. Doesn't happen too often, but I swear it's happened a few times. So as a result, she gives us the Pharaoh's Pearl, which is good, because that helps us get into the Tower of the Gods in a bit. This might take a bit. This might be the rest of the stream for all I know, with my luck on this game. So there are 3 prizes from him. Oh, this only costs 10 rupees. I thought it was 20 for some reason. I think the prize is 20. So this is just Battleship. So what do we get for just finishing it all? There's another prize for just finishing, period. But then one for getting under 20, which will be a pain in the butt to get. Got a skull necklace that isn't really helpful. We need like 20, not just 1. Well, we got the second prize without too much issue, so we'll see what this is, but then the 20 is gonna be a pain to get. I don't even know if I'll go for that right now, if I'll put that off until later, until I have a little bit more to collect. Or like more rupees, I mean. A treasure chart, but it actually is a treasure chart. That's very ironic. I do want to check the auction again, just to see if, like, doing some other stuff will cause the, cycle to reset, in terms of, like, actually seeing one of the other prices. Oh, that is necessary. Okay, so we need to, like, put a, bookmark on this one for later. That's the 80. This just seems to be the normal mailbox, letter. Oh, Kamali, he gave us a treasure chart. Cool. I think the most sensible place to check next would be the Fairy Island up here. This is where you normally get the wallet. Also, there's an option to have the, like, the people on the islands tell you, hints. This is an option. I'm not gonna use that right away. This, like, we just started. I'm gonna try to figure this out on my own first. But again, there is backup options like that. And yeah, thank you all for the head pats. And again, I did add the one I made as an emote, because I have no other ideas. At some point, I would like to commission artists to design emotes, but for me, I just don't really want to spend money at the moment, unless I know enough people are like... It's a weird balance, like, trying to justify subscribing, but also, like, feeling like I shouldn't go and spend a lot of money on emotes if I don't justify subscribing. That is very helpful. I am doing interestingly. I don't think I can say I'm doing well, so I'm saying I'm doing interestingly. That's how I'm opting to describe my current condition. But yeah, I'm not doing, like, bad at the moment. I did pick up a little bit emotionally, because I definitely was having a rough morning. Letter advertising bombs in Beetle's shop. His heart, not that helpful. It's kind of weird, because normally you'd want pieces of heart, but in randomizers, you kind of dread seeing them. I don't have the grappling hook, so I actually have to fight them by hand and hope they drop an item instead of just pulling the item off of them. Okay, that sucks. This is not a good place to farm for these if we don't have the grappling hook. What the heck is with all the Tingle statues? We're gonna have all of them before we even, like, get to a dungeon at this point. At this point, would not be shocked if something really good is on Tingle Island, just because we have so many of these stupid statues. Would be something easy. Obviously, Mother and Child Isle would be really short to do, so we'll just zip over there for a moment. This is actually inside, like, the mountain, so it's like, you can only warp here, basically. I also don't know if Link's grandma would have a check. Probably, right? Doesn't look like it, actually. Another Triforce chart. So that's interesting, to say the least. Another easy one would be, Paw Print Isle, I think. Yeah, there's a lot on Paw Print Isle. So we'll go over there next. The other Zelda I would like to do a randomizer for... I actually don't really know if there is one. Is there a Minish Cap randomizer yet? I need to look into that, because Minish Cap might be interesting because of all the Kinstone fusions. It would be interesting how that would work out. Well, that was a dud. Also, I don't know if Choo Choo Jellies count for much. I know there's, like, something that can use them, but I don't know if that counts for an actual item. I think that only counts for, like, getting potions, so I don't think they're actually required for anything. Oh, that is not drop. Yeah, right. Drop is R. That's on me. I'm used to more modern Zeldas that changed the button layout. Link's Awakening is another one, partly because I know a group I'm in is trying to get an archipelago going, so I kind of want to do a Link's Awakening rando to familiarize myself with the core concepts. The only problem with Link's Awakening is there's like 4 randomizers for this game, so I'm like trying to decide which one is actually like the best one to practice with. Like which one would be closest to the archipelago's rule sets. Another heart piece. Not particularly what I want to see right now. I know Twilight Princess has a rando, but again, as much as I think Twilight Princess is a very good game, again, the vibes just never clicked with me. And again, so it's the weird, like, balancing act of I genuinely think Twilight Princess is like the best made Zelda game. It's just, it doesn't quite hit the same as some of the ones that are objectively more flawed. Like, you know, I will argue all day that Twilight Princess is a better game than Skyward Sword, but then I still like Skyward Sword more for whatever reason, just because it has a little bit more charm. Not to say that Twilight Princess doesn't have charm, but just, it has more of the vibe I'm looking for from Zelda. I guess for lack of a better term. Oh look, paying rupees for a rupee. Also, hi Gwen, welcome. Or should I say Gwendolyn? That's why my brain shut down for a moment. It's like, should I break out that right now? Should I just immediately, like, frame one Gwendolyn? See, my problem is I can't say it right. I can't say it the way, like, Star does. Yeah, no worries. Everyone is like, not obligated to show up at all. I really appreciate when everyone can make it out, but again, never required. What is this, a fighting game? Imagine that being like a fighting game move where you just call someone a good girl, and that's like a super that deals like, you know, 40%. Now I actually want that unironically, I think. Silver rupee, wow, that's going to waste. We don't have room for it. That sucks, actually. And we just kind of wasted, you know, a lot of money, basically.